And one of life's givers, though, mate.
That's true, but I wasn't expecting to hear about your beefy. Just don't tell my other half, he might get jealous. Boo. Although you'd go down well on, there's two apps I can think you'd do well on. One's called Scruff, but the other one's called Growler, which I always thought would be really good for a lesbian dating app. But
it would, wouldn't it?
It's for bears, apparently. But yeah, I think Beefy would go down well there. Hello, everyone, and welcome to we have to redo our final race again because Codemasters can't program a game to work properly without corrupting saves. Ta-da! Alongside me, as always, is the ephemerally fantastic Definitely Zero. How you doing, mate?
Oh, mate, I am absolutely knackered. I've just done work, which is unusual for me. And now I have to do more work because I have to win a race that I've already won. Welcome to round 11 of our 10-round season. And to make things worse, I didn't have time to eat anything before we went live, and it's been a long day for me today. So I'm now eating a beefy, which I was telling you about before we went live. I used to call it biffy, but apparently that's wrong. It's beefy. Let me show the camera here. It's a beefy roll.
It sounds like my stomach.
Yeah, and you can see this if you watch the replay, Simon, because it's in the first 10 seconds. Let me show you. So it's a pepperami inside like stale cinema hot dog bread. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you're a dangerous maniac, but this is low even by your standards, and you're correct. But it's because I got it from free out of a train station vending machine. So I ordered a bag of Skittles or something, I think, the other day. And it on the way down, the Skittles like hit the next shelf, and it threw 2 beefy rolls at me. And normally I wouldn't feed these to a dog, but it's all I had in my rucksack, and I'm starving, so I'm eating a beefy. And if I keel over and die, then you can tell them who's responsible.
Amazing.
Deutsche Bahn and whatever disgusting pervert makes beefy.
It does sound like something that you would only go for if, like, there was a nuclear holocaust and all that was left were tin goods and a beefy.
You can really taste the arseholes.
Sweaty meat.
I love as well that the majority of the ingredients are chemicals I've never heard of before. So we have... delicious. It says on the packet it's naturally smoked, but that is a lie because the sausage itself is not smoked. But one of the ingredients is birch smoke, so they add the smoke in post.
Oh no!
Probably in the form of a spray. But I have mono and diglyceride from fatty acids. It doesn't specify which fatty acids.
Great.
I have mono and dicetyl Weinsäure ester. I don't even know how to translate that. Wheat gluten. Something that translates as stomach milk powder. Dextrose, stabilizer, an antioxidant. Oh, that's good. Concerned for health. And then there's pork, but it's not the main ingredient.
No worry. I love that is the... I bet that's the order of what's in there as well. So it's pork is like 0.01%.
Yeah. Essence of pork.
Reconstituted, which basically means it's been scraped off the Avatar floor. That's why Savaloys taste so good.
Right. I'm going to confess something to you now.
Uh-oh.
My stream's already gone down, but that's not the confession because we kind of expect that sort of failure here.
Oh,
no. What we have is a situation where I have never in my life eaten a Savaloy.
What? Do you know what?
Yeah.
You're not the only one. My other half's never had one has never had a Savaloy either. But is now on a vegetarian hellbent way. So I keep ordering
I'm sorry for your
them.
loss.
I know. So I keep ordering them, and then he's like, "I really want to try one, but I then feel really bad for doing so." So I just kind of wave it in front of his nose. Once I slapped one around his face, which I don't
misses.
I know. Which
The symbolism is high.
It is. Which, to be fair, helped out later. But yeah, I do love a good Savaloy.
Right, give me just one moment because I need to figure out if I'm live or not.
Okay.
It says I am, but my computer says that I'm not, and no one's in chat tonight so far. So, but you know what? I sort of don't care. We just want to get through this, don't we?
Yes.
And I will not allow this to happen again, right? So, for those who missed the last stream, I won the last Grand Prix. Boom. But we then went into the very cool Sky Sports contract negotiation part of the game. I had great fun following Simon's contract negotiations. I got rejected from 3 teams, like the fat girl at the disco. And we moved time forward a day, but then the opportunity to negotiate with other teams was greyed out, which is a bug. It shouldn't be. And all through the stream, I've been getting desync warnings that Simon and I were on different versions of the save. Mm-hmm. But we had that a stream before, and it kind of figured itself out, so I thought it was no big deal. So I said, okay, well, why don't we back out and come back in and see if I can negotiate a transfer? And it turned out, no, the game rolled both of us back to before practice in the last Grand Prix. So now we have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah.
I believe I speak on behalf of all of us when I say, God damn it. Anyway.
Agree. But you were saying, actually, that... you'd gone. So I was moaning, I think, on Twitter because that's all that Twitter is for. But nothing good comes from that humanity depraved cesspool. But apparently, you're saying that Codies were replying or talking about lots of other people having the same issue.
I didn't see them reply to many people, but I saw a lot of people complaining about similar issues in co-op, but also desync in general multiplayer play.
Yes, I've had this.
And a big problem in single player with like 2 or 3 races being discarded when you reload the game. Mm-hmm. Similar to what happened to us. And a lot of it seems to have popped up since the last patch. Sorry, I've now got organic hippie gummy bears in my mouth because I really am starving. Some of you may have noticed as well, new camera angle. My new desk arrived, and what you see behind me, all lit up, is possibly the best gift I've ever received. As you know, Simon,
yes,
I do play the drums, and it was my birthday since the last stream, and I got this very cool gift. It was handmade for me, and you won't really know what I mean, Simon, until maybe you watch it back. But I'm holding it up to camera right now, and it is a sculpture of a drummer made out of like electronic components, and it's got LEDs all over it, and it's got a whole bunch of modes. It creates its own Wi-Fi, and I can connect to it, and I can make it like react to my voice or to music. I can change the colours and the patterns and everything. It's super cool, and I decided I need to start building like a streaming place. So this is my first decoration, because as we know, you can't be a streamer without having brightly coloured LEDs on literally everything.
That is very true.
I am waiting for the LED posing pouch to be released, and no one's been brave enough yet.
Oh, I have to take a quick look at that. That sounds really good. For those of you watching on my stream, because there's a few of you in, you can also watch Definitely Zero over at twitch.tv/Definitely Zero.
Pippy pip. But in that case, now I have to return the favour. Where can people come and watch you? It's youtube.com/higher playing games, all one word.
Yes.
And what a lovely word it is. I'm ordering some engine bearings because there's every chance I may still be at this team next season.
See, because I failed on my run through last time, if I end up doing well this time, I wonder if I'll tip over and then I won't be able to get what my Aston Martin deal. Be like alternative timelines.
Do you know? But I did not expect you to go to Aston Martin, and I kind of liked the surprise it stirred up in me.
I might not do it this time.
But for anyone who watched the last stream, I think you know where the plans are kind of skewing now. Well, what pushed me to apply for Ferrari was you going to Aston Martin. I was like, I can't have a situation where like you're basking in prestige of a heritage brand, and then like I'm driving for some twat who sells photocopier toner or whatever it is he sells. Milling machines, that's the one. Some F1 news since we were last live. Haas have finally confirmed what we all knew, which is the car is terrible. Also something about their lineup. Can you imagine a more underwhelming announcement?
It was quite underwhelming, but I expected it nonetheless. Excuse me, even if it doesn't do, and it does nout for me whatsoever, unlike the last few laps of the Russian Grand Prix, which was electric.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about that race. I'm trying not to peak too soon, like my dad did. So I'm keeping that in the back pocket. I'm thinking of Maggie Thatcher while we get through these early thrusts, and then we can. So this metaphor's really gone off the rails, hasn't it?
She wasn't for turning. I'll give you that.
No, she wasn't for turning. Probably for the best, because then you have to look at her face. Oh God, we're going to get thrown off the internet, aren't we?
Mind you. Would that count as bestiality? A bit like fucking a bulldog, wouldn't it?
It's like we don't want to do this anymore.
No, no. Setting the tone.
Speaking of other things that I'm not allowed to say, the results of the German election happened, and I'm making no further comment.
Oh, yes. Because of the weird and obscure terms and conditions that you've been sent as a German citizen. Yes.
So, for those not located in the land of milk and bratwurst,
what a combo!
If you are we talked about this a bit in the last episode, right? So, if you are a streamer or a content creator, you're technically under the law considered to be a broadcaster, the same as a radio station or a TV station, and that then comes with certain obligations and responsibilities. So, for example, once I reach, I say this like it's going to happen, it's never going to happen, but if we were to, between us, Simon, achieve a few hundred viewers on a stream, I have to apply for a license from like the German version of Ofcom. But even while I'm unlicensed as a small broadcaster... Even while I'm unlicensed as a small broadcaster, I do have to stick to certain Ofcom guidelines, and particularly Google guidelines, because Google are the mailed fist of authoritarianism with the smiley face. I have to be careful because I shouldn't be saying stuff like this, because you are actually on Google right this moment, and their AI will kick us off. But in my job, I work with Google a lot, and there's an office near where I live, and I spend a lot of time in there, and it's very Orwellian and evil feeling when you're in there. Like, everyone's smiling, and there's lots of bright primary colours everywhere, and there's a children's slide to get between floors, but then also everything they do feels a bit evil. It's a strange dichotomy. But anyway, I got guidelines from them that said, and this was like 4 or 5 days before the election even happened, that I was not allowed to even suggest the possibility that the results of the German election were not legitimate. Now, just to be clear, and I'm not saying this just because of the guidelines, I have no reason to believe the results are not legitimate. Right, I've not seen anything, I've not heard anything credible, like, it just isn't the case. But what concerns me is, they were giving me this warning before anything had happened.
Mm-hmm.
So as I was saying to you, Simon, right, what that meant is, in effect, and I understand, it's a well-intentioned guideline because, misinformation is harmful when it's genuine. It's just the difficulty thing is who decides what's misinformation, right?
Yeah.
Well, as I said to you, what this would mean is that if I went out on election day and with my own eyes saw someone burning ballots and then came and told you about it, even though it was true, and I may even have evidence, it would be misinformation and I would be banned from the platform.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of don't like that very much. That seems a bit... words we're not supposed to say.
The problem with all of these...
Technically, I'm not allowed to say, and of course I would say, but I am definitely... What was
Did you get
number?
that bug?
I did.
I would love that. Do you know what? I'll be re-signing if those are our development points for next season.
My driver acclaim went down for unlocking stuff. This game is so borked. But yeah, what I'm definitely not allowed to say, and I would never dream of saying, is that Nikita Mazepin sexually assaulted a woman in the back of a car. I'd never say that. I wouldn't dream of telling you that he groped a girl that he knew and put it on Instagram. But you and I know, Simon, I would never ever say that on the internet.
No. That would be defamation, sir.
It would be defamation. What I do find interesting, though, is that at the Russian Grand Prix, Mr. Mazepin did feel the need to defend himself from this allegation. And it was an excellent defence that I think no jury would be able to dismiss. Did you see what his defence was?
No, I didn't.
So, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, whatever you may think about Mr. Mazepin's actions, it's important to bear in mind the important fact that he was not the one who uploaded it to the internet.
Well, I'm
that's
delighted.
That was his defence. It's not that he didn't do it, it's that, well, I didn't put it on the internet. Oh, well, all right then, everything's forgiven. What even was that? At his home Grand Prix as well, I bet the sponsors were loving that.
Boo.
Yes, I did molest a woman, but I didn't post it on the internet. I'm not a scumbag.
Yeah, didn't even do it for clicks, mate. No, it's... Well, I found... So I was morbidly curious about... and we'll circle back to your Google thing in a sec, but just a random side note. I was morbidly curious about his Beyond the Grid podcast interview on the F1 channel. And Tom Clarkson, who doesn't really ask tough questions anyway, kind of went like, oh, so you came in with a little bit of controversy and a little bit of uproar. And it's like, no shit. And he was like, yeah, so I learned from some of this, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of went off on a little tangent. And my takeaway from this whole, interview was every sentence started off with, and I believe that. And I thought, okay, you've been told that you need to put across various different, a personality trait that makes you be, impassioned and all of this kind of stuff and noble and humble. And it rubbed me up the wrong way all the way through. I don't know what he could do to make me not be annoyed with him in general, if I'm perfectly honest.
Well, I mean, to be honest, given what he did, I think it's perfectly okay to... I mean, I wouldn't say persecute the man forever, but certainly, I think it's fair to say he's brought the sport into disrepute and that maybe he should be in a different form of motorsport.
I think
and then you and I would never have to speak about him again.
That'd be lovely. I think the other thing as well for me is that I still don't see remorse, regret, or what he's done or the team have done to kind of show that there has been progress on from that, because his actions just show clearly that he hasn't. So until something comes along where I think, oh, okay, you've actually grown as a human being, regret what you've done, blah 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 blah, then
but he just doesn't, does he?
No, I know. And so, like, with that all defamation stuff to one side, with the Google stuff that you was talking about, and this kind of pre-words, so I can see, having been involved in this type of stuff from a government perspective sometimes, it's spin doctors thinking that they can get something out to stop something beforehand because they think that's being clever. But what they don't realise is that we're all cynical bitches. And so we just assume that if you're going to come out very pointedly and say something like, that sky, just to let you know, it's definitely blue. And then you're like, huh? It's magenta or something like that in the meantime.
But it's true. Like, why would you feel the need to tell me something? Yeah. It's like, jokes in like in the League of Gentlemen when they come and build the road and they end up murdering the builder, and the police arrive and they think they're getting away with it, and then the wife just goes, "We didn't burn him," as the policeman's about to leave, and he's like, why would you say that? It's like, we didn't rig the election. I didn't say that you did, but
Yep. And so, like, to me, that then screams, right, well, there's no smoke without fire. Clearly, they're worried about something, and they're on the aggressive defence, if that makes sense. So then I just go out looking for confirmation bias that something's gone wrong. And so, like, in some ways, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. A bit like me trying to put down the throttle there. That was horrible. But going out with that kind of strong mandate makes me then just go, okay.
Well, and also, like, I'm of the personality type that's actually fairly compliant. I'm not really a troublemaker by nature. But whenever I'm told, like, this is a rule now, I become obsessed with breaking it. It's like I have to do it. I don't know why. Like, I would wear a school uniform, no problem, if no one made a big deal about it. But if it was suddenly, like, it wasn't my school, now everyone has to wear a jumper all the time. Like, it wasn't just the uniform, you had to always have the jumper on, unless they decided it was warm enough for you to be too warm.
Oh. Have you crashed?
That was. Well, I didn't know.
Why are you out?
It's a bug.
What's happened?
I came into the pit. I hit the pit limiter. Everything was fine, and then it sort of like sped up and smashed me into the wall. And then I spawned in the pit, so I thought I got away with it. But then I had no wheel, and.
No. Do you want to? I'm assuming we can come back out and go back.
Oh no, I don't care. I'm fast enough here to win, and I'm already close to full tenths up on Lewis Hamilton. I started on the front row at the last Grand Prix with only one lap under my belt, and that lap was slower. So honestly, I think I'm okay.
Okay.
I'll just eat gummy bears now. And I can do the talking while you're trying to qualify.
Another feature of the marvellous game, puts Roy in the chat. It's a feature, not a bug.
I have to say, that's what the third bug we've had on the stream now, and the stream's been live 22 minutes.
Yeah. I've put on, so I've uploaded and I've put it as a premiere, my Season 2 of my F1 My Team Extreme Edition. And there's a bit in there where it keeps on putting up how many points I am behind the championship leader and still in contention, but it comes up with like 4,399,264 points behind. I'm like, I don't know what championship you're in.
See, what I've never understood, and Codemasters have done this a few times, is how can they take a game that's basically functional and then break it?
Mm-hmm.
Not discover it in testing and release it. Let's make sure you don't get terminal damage now driving into the pits.
So I was taking extra care.
Yeah, I'm scared now to pit during the race. To be quite honest. Bit scared. Is my car in the pits? Can you see my car in the garage?
No. I can't see it. I can see a Ferrari.
Ah, well. Anyway, so yeah, lesson learned there, Google. By telling us not to talk about something, you've made us talk about it at some length. So,
Yes.
so good job. But I know, actually, that's the point I wanted to make. I figured out why they did that.
Okay.
And I'm going to pick my words carefully now because Google's AI really will be sensitive to this. So, you may recall last year there was an election somewhere on the planet that was quite significant. And there was
Guadeloupe. What?
one side of the fence was saying that there'd been some shenanigans. Well, a special group of people who look into shenanigans checked for shenanigans in one area of this large place and found that there had indeed been a large amount of shenanigans. So the difference between the victor and the loser had been 10,000 votes, and they found 50,000 shenanigans during a audit of shenanigans in just one area.
Crikey.
And of course, the press are not touching it with a barge pole, and neither are we, Google algorithm. But just saying,
When you're ready,
just saying, that is a thing that happened, and maybe that's what they were trying to get ahead of. And also, the fact that it did happen should scare all of us. Right. Anyway, moving on. And I was surprised at the outcome, by the way. I didn't expect them to find shenanigans, but they totally did.
Boo.
So, yeah, there we go.
Not great at all. Not great at all. Roy's just saying, actually, are all these bugs console related, or is it on the PC one as well? I've seen different bugs on PC compared to console. I do think the console ones might be slightly more bulked. I'm not sure.
I believe you're correct. And part of the reason for that is that it's free to patch the PC version, but you have to pay to put patches out on the PlayStation and the Xbox.
I thought they changed that from PS4 onwards, that it was now free to do so. Because it used to be... I think it was £200,000 or $200,000 to patch a PlayStation game.
Oh, yeah, fuck that.
On PS3 it was. I may be well off there, it might be 20,000. But whatever it was, it was ridiculous. Yeah, because indie games were just like, we're really sorry, we can't afford the patch because it hasn't sold enough, you're stuck with the game. So yeah, I tell you what I have spotted though on the PC version of this game, which then makes me go, why did you make the game in this colour palette, Codies? There's some seriously fantastic, realistic colour mods for this, and they've done it with the tyres, realistic Pirelli tyres, realistic camera shading and day and night effects and all of that. It looks seriously fantastic.
Do you know, I've always hated the colour palette of these games. The cars do not look like they do in real life. And I know it's a video game, they're not going to look exactly, but the shading is off on everything.
Yeah.
And I've never liked it. We used to complain about the caterhams, if you remember. And it also means that sometimes it's a bit less of a problem now, but do you remember in like F1 2013, 2014, where on a sunny track, the surface of the road will become like utterly reflective and it will blind you?
Yes.
Everything was like oversaturated and over illuminated, and you can see it also in camera mode.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because the default settings, like the contrast is turned down, and the saturation is turned down to like wash out certain colours. But honestly, I put that down maybe to a limitation on the hardware. You know, like how at the end of the last console generation, cell shading became a big thing.
Yes.
Because they couldn't make the games compete with PC because the hardware was getting old. And I think, because they're still having to carry around the PS4 for now, they're not really making the graphical leaps. Because, also, like, I'm watching you on board now, right? My PlayStation is not having to do that much work, but everything not super close to your car is very out of focus and low resolution. And 3-4 years after the bug first appeared, when I watch the race opening where Croft is doing his waffle, the textures on like the shirts of